I always breathe a sigh of relief when I get off the bike, because then I'm in control, right? You can have, mechanicals, you can have, something, a flat tire or whatever. You can get smoked in the face, your goggles ripped off on the swim. But when I get onto the run, then it's on me. If it goes well, it was on me. If it doesn't go well, it's because I screwed something up somewhere along the way. So, yeah, that's always the point of the race, where it's like, okay, now it's on me. And I like being in that position. Right. I think this should be my meals for the week. So this week has been really about trying to minimize the stress as much as possible. I think that's definitely one of the things that I've let get to me in previous championship race weeks, is just doing too much and putting a little bit too much on the plate. So one thing that I'm doing is having meals taken care of. So I had Icon Meals ship all of my food to me really for the week, so I shouldn't have to stress at all about any of the food preparation, at least maybe a few snacks. But yeah, we have breakfast and then just some breakfast meals and just some regular meals throughout the day. And then the nice thing is I was able to go on and customize my pre-race meal. I always do chicken, rice, and broccoli, and so that's what we have here. And I was able to go on and say, I want this much chicken, this much rice, this much broccoli, and they put it together for me, sent it over to me. So yeah, one less thing to worry about this week. This race has been pretty elusive. It's the fourth attempt at holding it off, and I'm pretty confident we're actually going to get to the start line this time. Obviously, the World Championships in St. George is a little bit of a new experience for everybody. When it was in Kona, we all knew what to expect. With it being in St. George, it's going to be a really different game. It's on a course that hasn't had a full race on it. A lot of people have raced sections, but not the full thing. It's early May in Utah, so we have no idea what kind of weather we're going to get. So we had to prepare for heat. We had to prepare for a lot of wind, and it could be freezing cold. There's been years where this race has had a high DNF rate due to hypothermia. So we'll just see what things actually unfold on race day. And it's definitely added a new wrinkle to the training, a new just a different process, because in Kona, it's going to be hot, humid, and windy. Here, you have to be prepared for everything, and so you have to be willing to have different race plans and race strategies going in, and being a little bit more flexible with what the course is giving and what the conditions are giving than you might normally be. So I get asked a lot about how I think the race is going to unfold, and honestly, I think there's so many new variables here that it's really hard to predict. I think a lot of people believe that there'll be a couple guys that are able to get off on the front, and maybe that's the case, and get away in the swim and kind of do a small group of 2 or 3. I don't know with the wetsuits, and there's enough good swimmers that it might stay a little bit more packed up than normal, and there might really only be 2 packs or kind of one longer pack. It will really depend. A lot of times when you have a lot more people in the race, there's more gap fillers, and so it's harder to get those breaks. And we're also starting, I believe, in waist deep water, which is kind of not very common. I've not done it very many times, and so we're not running in and diving, and we're not starting from deep water. So that it's just another variable. And then that's going to affect the rest of the day. Obviously, if a couple of people get off front, they're going to work hard to make sure that the group stays away from them as much as possible, because that's just what you have to do. And I really think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities to break things up a lot more than what you see with the Kona Express typically on the bike. It's a very rolling course, and with long sustained climbs, obviously Kona is really rolling as well. But I think that there's enough of the longer climbs that people can make smarter moves and try to break things up if they want to. And then there'll be people that maybe try to want to keep it together a little bit more, because that would help some of the runners out. So it's really just keeping your head up while you're burying it in your best aero position. It's just keeping aware and knowing what's going on around you, and kind of who's doing what, and just being prepared for anything. I've definitely had to prepare for a lot more match strikes on the bike than I typically would in an Ironman race. And if I have to use that, I know it's there. Maybe I won't have to, but that's definitely a possibility. And then on the run, it's the weather's going to be a big factor. It's dry here, so you don't really feel the heat as much, but as soon as you get a tailwind, when I was here training, there was a couple times we had a tailwind going up the hill. It got pretty uncomfortable pretty darn fast when you're just kind of staying in that same pocket of air, and it just kind of follows you up the hill. It's not the most fun situation, and so at that point it's going to be who's managed the nutrition, who's managed the pacing, and who wants it the most. And if I'm in the mix when it comes down to that, I think that's the ideal situation. That's where I want to be going into the last lap, is with the ability to see how willing I am to hurt. I've left a lot of world championship races questioning a lot of things, and that's not a fun feeling to have. And I hope, I believe that I've done everything in my power to get to the end of the day on Saturday and not have that feeling again.